Hey guys, it's IlonkaSims here, and I am back with another speed build. So I know that with the vampire pack, everyone's building their vampire-y, scary looking buildings, but I was looking, well, I wasn't looking, I was looking at, I was looking at like a video someone posted looking through the items, and I was like, there's a lot of this that's not necessarily scary. There's a lot of it that actually looks really nice, and I kind of want to build like a fairy tale castle, just to do something a bit different from everyone else, I guess, and just because the pack just works so well for it, I guess. So that's what I decided to do, which was a lot harder than I thought it would be. I will admit. I tend to build modern buildings, and I try different things sometimes, but building a castle isn't easy. I I must have tried building something a million times before I actually settled on this building. And you'll see me build with kind of a purpose here because I realized that I just needed to build something off screen and then try again while recording, I suppose. So I kind of built this as an idea before I recorded it. So I had an idea of what I was doing. Not like exactly, but kind of, if that makes sense. And yeah, I'm happy with it. You'll see me mess around with the roofing here. This is a roofing style I've used before. I got it from some tutorial here on YouTube. And it works, sort of at least. And I really wanted to use these windows that I have on the tower, but I couldn't find a good place to use them. I think they would work a lot better on like a smaller Victorian style house. But you know, that will come in the future, I suppose. And the roof here, they don't quite match up because of the curve, but it was as close as I could get it, and it works okay. Copying over the roof from the other tower, I suppose. Which, I mean, it works. And yeah, I wasn't feeling the windows. I put in a lot of windows, and I don't know, I like having a lot of windows just because natural light is a thing that's kind of really good. But at the same time, a lot of windows doesn't work for a castle, so I had to change that up, and it will be a while before I settle on anything in terms of windows, but at least I had an idea what I was doing for the outside of the build. You can see that quite a bit of it is still, I guess the best way to say it is quite simple. The detail will come, no worries. At this point I was just thinking, okay, I need to, you know, make this look nice, do some fancy things with the roofs. You'll see me put on a lot of these different kind of spires and thingies. For some reason they look very strange in the second part, like the wider part of the roof. You'll see this here. They go really dark, I don't know why. They might be too high or something. There wasn't much I could do about it, so I just figured I'd just accept that that's what it looks like, and there's not much I can do about it at the end. And then, you know, trying to figure out where to put in windows, and I don't know, it was something, I suppose. Putting in another kind of little detail over here. Again, I tried a few different kind of ideas before I recorded, and I just put some different things together, I suppose is the best way to put it. Looking at some pictures online of real life castles and other people's builds and trying out my own things. That's basically the way I usually build, especially with something like this. Like a modern build is, I suppose you can say, easy enough to kind of edit and do your own way. But something like this is, like, on the one hand you have a lot more freedom and things, but at the same time it's a lot more difficult. put in, again, a little bit of detail here in the roof because the roof was really big and empty. But it works. Yeah. Whoa, lots of spinning. Saving because I had a problem with my game crashing a couple times. I don't know why, but it did. So you'll see me save a couple times. I wanted to put in like the fence, but it's a really nice fence, but it wasn't working for me. So yeah, and here I go and change some of the stone because it was all the same color before, and I wanted it to be a bit different, I suppose, which I just ended up going with like the same stone but a slightly darker color, just to have something extra. And again, trying to figure out where to put windows without putting in too many windows. Putting in some balconies, just small things that make the build look more lively, I guess is the best way to put it. Yeah. So in this part, I don't think I said this yet, we do the outside of the build. I'll link a download link for just the build with, oh no, wait. I was going to link a download link for just the build without furnishing, but I started furnishing it and I didn't upload it, so I guess you'll have to wait for a bit. But hopefully I'll have it finished by next week, and then it will be up on the gallery, and I'll upload it as soon as I finish it and link it down below, even before I put on the second part of the speed build, because why would I not, really? But yeah, I kind of wanted to put a bridge to the castle, so we kind of needed water that it would supposedly go over. Of course, that's not quite how it works in The Sims 4, but it's close enough. Just a bit of a pond or something, I suppose. It's not quite as off looking as I tend to make them look, but again, I kind of wanted to go with the whole Fairytale theme and just make things look really nice, I guess. This pond is like a bit wild, but you'll see the rest of the gardens are all very, very fancy, which was really hard for me to do. I usually when I do gardens, they're very simple and kind of messy, and this is just, I had to make like formal gardens. There was a bit of a cut there because I tried some thing that didn't work, and I figured I wouldn't make you sit through me doing things that weren't going to be in the build anyways. So you'll see me here start off with the whole idea of what I wanted to do, which wasn't easy. I looked at pictures online and things, because how do people come up with these things? I don't know. But yeah, I put in a lot of fountains initially. I delete some of them because there were too many, like way too many. But yeah, I think I made it work in the end. Sort of, at least. You'll see me messing around with just shapes and things. Very symmetrical at this point, and I don't know, I liked it, but at the same time I didn't. Again, saving it to move it a little bit. And for some reason, deleted part of the hedges. I can speak, guys, I can speak. Yeah, formal gardens. I don't know if any of you are good at formal gardens. If you are, then download this and fix the gardens for me, because I tried. That was all I could do. I tried. And at this point, I was like, okay, let's just, instead of trying to make the whole thing, let's just take this one bit at a time, right? So I started putting in the flooring to give me an idea of what I was doing, I suppose. I don't know. It was something. you'll see me here go like, okay, I need to change this up. And I was like, but how do I do this with this other part? And I got really confused as to what I was doing. To be honest, this is probably the point, yeah, that I need to change some things because this isn't working. So I deleted some of the fountains and just had the one big one in the middle there. And we make these little hedge pods in the middle, which are pretty cute. And I put some statues in there because statues work in a formal garden, I think, right? We're changing the grass in these kind of hedged off areas, I guess is a better way to put it. Just because the grass in this lot is a bit meh, if that makes sense, so I wanted to change it a bit. It's a lot more green, I guess. I considered putting in like just the floor grass, I guess, instead of the spray grass, is the way to put it. But then you get problems with if you put in plants and you want to put some dirt in and things, so I didn't do that. And then I started here with some just ideas to make things look more lively. I considered putting in lanterns because I thought they were cute, but at the same time they didn't really fit the formal garden idea. So instead we have this here, and I wanted to put plants next to it, but I wasn't feeling it, and I end up putting the new lights next to them because they looked so nice next to it. And then I realized, you know what, I'm not feeling these big pots, and I kind of want to put in some, I guess, ponds or fountains or whatever you want to name them. And it helped a lot, I think. I think it looks a lot better. Yeah, it's a bit different, but it works. I'm putting in these little fountains that I think came with the what's the pack called? The City Living pack, with like a little bit of an elephant in there. They're really cute. And I realized I forgot to put these frogs in here in the front. I think they're really cute, and they kind of fit the Fairytale theme, you know, the princess and the frog and all that. Putting in some water thingies in the fountains there. And I realized I should probably put some in the front as well, even though that it wasn't supposed to be that kind of, I don't know, pond. It still kind of fit. And then these bits, I just put in some other hedges. I kind of wish we had like a lower option for this hedge. Like there's a higher option, but there's not a lower option, like a really tiny one. Because then I could have done like fun things with flowers and things, but you couldn't really see them with these high hedges, so I just made some shapes in them. Not the best shapes, unfortunately, but there wasn't much in terms of options. Unfortunately, having you know, the grid and all that to work with. But you know, no worries. We put some flowers over here instead of in the hedges, which I think is quite nice actually. I sped this up a bit more than the rest of the video because it's, I don't know, I'm placing flowers and it's all very samey, but I guess that's, I mean, to me personally, this is what I was thinking of when I was thinking of the more formal garden. So yeah, it's a bit different from any garden I usually build, but it works. And again, it's a bit weird. I don't know if you guys agree with this as kind of a formal garden idea, but it worked for me. And then in this area, I put some of the, I guess, vertical garden as well. Just some of the ivy and things you want to tower. I do the same thing on the other side. Mixing and matching some of the new vampire things with the old, how old, not really that old, the Get Together expansion pack wall things. And just doing the same thing here with the garden that we did on the other side. Just a bit of a different shape with the tower. And yeah, I don't know, it's the garden. It's the only place that has lots of flowers because, again, the hedges were too high to make a really nice flowery thing with, which kind of sucks, but there's not much I could do about it. And again, putting in some of the vertical garden, which didn't work so well on this part of the build as on the other part, but at the same time I like the idea of it anyways. I've done a build in the past where most of the build was covered by ivy, which is really nice, but yeah, it didn't work for this build. I wanted to initially, but I just realized it wasn't working, so unfortunately it's a bit different. And then over here I just make a bit of a seating area. I like these, I don't know, the fancy things. I think they came with the Get Together pack as well. I turned them around because I was looking at it and I wasn't feeling it too much, and then I turned them around. It makes it look a bit smaller and it worked a lot better. Again, taking out some of the grass. And I'm putting in 2 of these little seats put together, kind of as a place where you could just hang, I suppose. Sort of closed off from the rest of the area, but at the same time not really. And then I started thinking about how to do the rest of the little areas. I didn't want them all to just be hedges, just because that would get really boring really soon. But that meant I had to put other things in there, which isn't the easiest thing to come up with. Again, it's a formal garden, so I didn't just want to put things in there randomly. But I made it work. So we have some statues over here with some columns and seats. I delete the little thingy over the bench that we have with the fountain because there was just too much, I guess, arches over there. I think I did it off camera though, because I was looking at it just after I finished recording and I was like, that's too much, and let's just quickly delete that before I forget, because that doesn't look very good. And then I just put some plants over here behind the benches because it'd be good to have some flowers in the garden. There's not too many considering how big the garden is, but it worked. I considered putting a pot in like that, but I wasn't feeling it. I'm trying to remember if I put lights in these areas or not, but I can't really remember. I guess not. Then these little shapes on the corners. I tried a few different things. I just wanted to do the hedges thing again, and then I considered putting in just a tree at some point. You'll see that in a sec probably. And I think I end up combining some hedges and trees instead. Putting in some of the last terrain paint over there. Copying the bench with the lights. And here you see me messing around with the flowers and things, but unfortunately these ones, the only flowers that come up high enough to come up above the hedges, they don't come in too many nice colors. Like most of them are very like bluish and purplish, which I like purple and I like blue, but the flowers need to also be yellow and orange and red and pink, and I don't know, the colors were too cold for me. I didn't necessarily like it too much. So we have these little hedges with a tree in there instead. And then we had this area, and I wanted to put in this llama hedge and the elephant one, but it wasn't working. Again, I'm not a formal garden kind of person. It wasn't working for me. So instead we put in some trees, and again I kind of just went, am I really feeling this? Not really. I started putting in some flowers, and I'm like, oh no, I don't like those. Deleting the trees, and I end up going with not those. I still don't get those flower bushes from the backyard pack. I wanted to go do the flowery thing. Figured I'd choose these things instead of hedges. Nope, wasn't working. I ended up going with this bird feeder. I figured, you know what, let's have a bit of areas where you can actually do something. So we have this area which has a bird feeder. So we put in some flowers. We have the bird feeder thingy. We put in like a bird house. And the bird bed, I think they're called. Looking at some of the different ideas that were in the game itself because I needed ideas. We end up putting in that little, what are they called? The wishing well, I guess. You put this little wall in here to have the fountain next to, which is, I don't know, just a nice kind of detail. A bit weird maybe to have the wall in there, but it was cute, I think, sort of. And again, just putting in some flowers and things so that we have some flowers in this garden. I considered putting in statues, but I wasn't feeling it. Same with those flowers in pots. They don't make sense on grass to me. Like it makes sense if you put like flowers in pots on the stone, but not on the grass. I end up putting in a tree, I think. So we have this pot in the house and a tree. We put in a seat. Did we leave in the llama? I can't remember if I left the llama or not. I probably did just to have it. No, I didn't. Aw. I'm kind of upset that I didn't leave it in. Putting in some terrain paint, which I'd forgotten earlier. And we're moving this area over here so there was more space. I figured a wedding area would work. It makes sense, right guys? Maybe there's a royal wedding taking place at some point, hopefully. Putting in some of these chairs. I considered using benches, but I wasn't really feeling the benches either, so I just went with the chairs instead. These came with like the luxury party stuff pack, I think. And then we put in, the terrain paint first off. And we put in this bigger, I guess, rose carpet. Put it that way, rose petal carpet. I don't know. It worked. Putting some flowers on the sides. And some lights over there as well. And obviously we needed to put in one of these organs. Which I wasn't sure about putting it outside. But then I put this thingy around it from the garden stuff back. And it kind of worked. It's sort of covered, but not too covered, I suppose. Yeah. Just putting in a little book there, kind of as a guest book thing. The statue next to it. And that was about it for the kind of wedding area. There's not much to it, but in case you want to have a wedding at the house, you can. Well, it's not a house, it's a castle. It's not a very big castle, though. I did the layout off screen because layouts are a pain. I struggle with layouts a lot. I think it ends up having 3 bathrooms with an ensuite, and then having like the top level as kind of the, I guess, kings and queens level, where they have, you know, a bathroom and an office area and their bedroom as well. So it's not huge, but it's big enough for the Sims, I think. And then this is kind of a kids area, I suppose, so I put in a little bit of a pool. I didn't want to put in a pool initially, but I wanted to put in a kids area, and I wasn't sure what else to put in there. So we have the pool, and we have the monkey bars, and I put in a unicorn toy because fairy tales, unicorns. I figured the unicorn would make more sense. And then we have a wishing well. Again, kind of works with the whole fairy tale kind of idea. You'll see here as well, like, I kind of ran out of ideas to put things in. It's not quite as detailed when I was looking at some of the other areas, but I guess it works, sort of, at least. Yeah. I forgot a bench somewhere, but I also put that off screen because I remembered. And that's it. So I will see you next time. Bye guys!